So this dish is going to be duck breast with blackberries, crunchy cobnuts and a little wine sauce. We were saying earlier about how everything seems to come into the season at the same time and tells you what works well together. So it's game season. I know duck isn't specifically game in a season, but things like grouse, various other little game birds would work really well with this dish. We're going to use the cobnuts. In this instance we're using the cobnuts not necessarily to get the flavour out of them, of course their flavour's delicious, but it's to add a lovely texture onto this little dish. And blackberries are here at the moment, so we can just pluck some of those off the bushes and they go really well with the duck. So when you've got your duck breast to start with, this is actually a part of a breast. Sometimes a whole breast is quite a lot. Make sure that the skin is nice and dry and have your duck out at room temperature for a good half an hour or so before you start to cook it. And then we've just scored the skin to like a little crisscross, which is going to help draw the fat out. You don't want soggy skin. So you season your skin, some sea salt, a little bit of pepper, and then that's when you're going to put that skin side down onto your pan. You want a nice crispy skin, and the way to get that is to put it onto a completely cold pan, skin side down, and then you put the heat on. You don't put the heat on beforehand. People used to put a searing hot pan and then put the duck on it. What that does is that seizes the meat really quickly, but this way you're going to get much more fat out of it if the temperature starts coming from cold to hot, and as it does that it will start rendering out the fat. So you're going to leave that on there probably for 3 to 5 minutes until the skin has started getting nice and crispy and a lot of the fat has come out. So the other ingredients we've got in this dish are some fresh rosemary, a little tiny bit of dry white wine, blackberries, tiny bit of salt and the crunchy fresh cobnuts. Quite a few hedgerow fruit would work. Damsons are usually out about the same time as the blackberries. They would be really nice. It does also work quite well with plums, but the good thing about the blackberries is as soon as they hit the pan they break down and they'll become a delicious sauce. So as you can see, quite a bit of fat has already come out of the breast, and if you turn it over you've got beautiful golden colour on it. So you haven't got any soggy fat on there, just pure crispy fat, and that's exactly what you want. So then you're going to turn it over to the other side for, again, on a lower heat now. We don't need to have it so fierce. So cooking for 3 to 4 minutes if you want your duck fairly pink. Really does depend on how you like the bird cooked. So we're going to leave that there cooking. And the most important thing is we've rendered that fat down and we've got lots of lovely crisp fat on there, and we'll add another little bit of sauce. So the meat's been in the pan probably for about 5 to 6 minutes now. It's got beautiful golden colour all the way around. The fat underneath the skin has been rendered down, and we've got colour on it, and you can feel that if we rest that now, probably won't be that pink. I mean, we're going to cook this pretty much through, but you can stop it when you think it's going to be rare or medium rare. So just put the duck itself on the dish to rest, put that in a bit of foil. We have rendered the fat down, but the fat is where all the flavour is, so we don't want to get rid of all of that because that's going to add to the sauce. So we're going to put some of our cobnuts, fresh cobnuts in. And I've just sliced these down the middle so you can just see the beautiful inside. So you're going to start getting those toasting. Again, you want the freshness, the crunch of the nut, so we're not going to colour them too much, but it is delicious if it's covered in a little bit of the duck fat. Then we're going to add ribs, and these will start popping and breaking down quite quickly. Pieces of fresh rosemary, take off the wooden stalk, just use the lovely green fresh. Tiny bit of white wine. You glaze the pan, you can already see the colour coming out of that. You can use a red wine if you want a darker sauce, you could use a port, and then I've got a tiny little bit of this stock. I've gone here for a chicken stock. You could get, if you've got your own game stock, absolutely fantastic, or beef would probably be a little bit too rich for this. Chicken stock will work well, so that's just going to bubble away and make our beautiful sauce for the duck. So the duck has been rested. There's some little juices that came out, and we're just going to pop that back into our saucepan. We don't want to waste any of this. Just slice through where it's been rested. It's going to be beautifully tender now. Still slightly pink in the middle, exactly as you'd want it. And there, got some little sprouting broccoli to go with it. And we've got our beautiful sauce, which is delicious because the colour's drawn out of these blackberries. So the blackberries have got a beautiful pink tinge to them, but you've got all of the richness in that sauce. Put that over your duck, and then the lovely combination of the fresh nuts and the blackberries. Take the last little bit, a little chefy touch, a bit of wind, sprig of fresh rosemary.